Hello, I'm back. As you see, I've turned it into a more square shelf, like that. And that is 2 levels so far. So, try to hold it steady so they don't fall over. Anyway, you get the idea. It'll go on the shelf like that. But what I want to do is experiment with how many levels up I can make it. Alright, here we go. So this is an example of what I'm talking about. 3 figures, each 1 block high, as you can see. And they all fit into the area without interference. You see that? So there you go. Take that picture. And now I'm going to put them on the table, and we'll see how they look. Alright, there we go. So that is more or less the idea. You've got the 3 levels, and that's about as high as they can go on the shelves. And the good thing is, they're only 1 figure wide, the square section. So all these other figures should be able to fit. Until, of course, you get to He-Man and Skeletor on Battle Cat. And Panther. I'll have to think of something for that one. But that's basically the way I'm going to do it. Not for the vintage figures, I think, because they each have their separate stands so they can stand upright. So now we'll get some angles from other views. See if I can move them around without anything falling over. So stand by and we'll find out. Good thing is these figures have wide feet, so they can mostly be prevented from falling over. There. So there's an angle from the other side. There's how they'll look from the front. And let's see, from the exact side with the MOTU shelves in the background. So here we go. And don't worry, the Construx thing is not going to fall apart in any way. There we go. That's good. And now, I already took a picture of them on their shelves. So let's see if I can put them back without them falling. Here we go. See, that's the catch. Putting them on the shelf without them falling over while you slide the figure back as far as it can go, which is that. But given the headroom space, there's just not enough room to put them in front of everyone. So let's see, you've got the Eternia Guard, you've got Snake Armor Tila, you've got the Sorceress, and you have She-Ra. So you arrange the shelf a little differently based on the figures. And there you go. All right. And of course you can put the Eternian Guard accessory bag there. Okay. So there you go. So there's the dark picture. Here's the light picture. And there you are. Everyone's face can be seen on all the levels when you're looking at them straight on. So that's good. So what I'll have to do for the rest of the figures on this top shelf, except for He-Man and Battle Cat, of course, I'll have to expand it across several layers. So I think the next 3-figure shelf should be the ladies. And you could pile all the accessory bags in front. So that should work out quite well, and I'll work on that throughout the week, piece all these videos together, and upload the full video on Friday. So that's all for now for Sean's toy room. Here's a better angle of just the new MOTU Origins shelf with the figures on it. And see, you can't even really see the Construx stand with the figures, so it's perfect. So, see y'all later. Bye-bye. Hello, I'm back. It's Sean. I have an idea on how to switch the shelf around. I'm going to slowly take the card backs figures out of here so that I can move the loose figures onto the bottom shelf, and that way I don't have to move as much around, really. And I can move the Construx figures, that's what I'm going to call them if they're on the stands, into the proper section of the shelving here. So let me do that, and we'll see how it looks when there isn't an overhang. And we'll see if the make sure they're not too high. Don't worry, I'll take a now you see the flaw in my plan. I'll show you. If I try to put a MOTU figure up, see? Okay. Well, that explains that. However, see that? Yeah, but that won't quite work. Okay. So we'll just put everything back where it was, but I will stack the carded figures. So that means if I put anything on the bottom shelf here, they can really only be 2 figures high. Which means, alright, so kind of like that, and that, which means you can pretty well fit 2 figures in front. Like there. All right. But as you see, there's not that much wasted space for 2 figures. Here's a brighter picture. All right, so I think I'm just going to get to building. Here we are. You've got the one shelving unit, and I'm going to have to build more from the other pieces. And there are about, it's about 7 figures across, so we'll see if I have enough pieces. Don't worry, I have another entire section that I can use. Fill in everything like that and like so. Now if it's going to be 3 figures high, you're going to need 3 panels like this in each segment, and of course the bottom, but the bottom doesn't need any pieces, so I'm just going to get out all the pieces I have in the panels, and we'll see how far we can go with this. I've come up with a good idea. Yes, they're connected to each other, but what if that interferes with getting the figures in place? So what if instead of connecting them to each other, I simply created individual units. And that way, you don't waste time having to connect them to each other. You just create individual units, each of them wide enough to hold one figure, each of them designed to hold 3 figures, or for the lower shelves, only 2. And then you've got it. I think that's a better way to go myself. And you've got lots of blue connectors, you've got lots of panels, you even have the small pieces which can be joined together like that, and then you can create, you know, 2 panels wide, enough for a figure, so that works as well. All right, so yes, I'm showing you how I constructed it. It seems like a good idea. Everything's in camera range. Excellent. Here we go. All right, so put the 4 pieces down like that. There you go. Put another panel in place. I'll use the square panels whenever possible. See? Now we, oh, see, that's a broken piece. So don't need that one. And this will help prevent me from, when I run out of my childhood pieces, I won't have to actually stop because each one will have an individual shelf. And that way, if you want to see some of the figures, all you have to do is slide it out of its individual shelf and you can see it now. You see this one, you know, you have to build it up one. I'm going to use all the gray and the blue at first before I turn to the white pieces. The white pieces come from the space set, which was actually released a couple of years after the original set. The original set was released in 1983, if memory serves. And these are all my original pieces. I mean, some of them are yellowed. As you saw, some of the connectors get broken over the years, but I've only had a few. Ooh, we want this one to be all gray, don't we? Only had a few connectors break over the time. So that's a pretty good record. And there you go. So, oh, yeah, don't forget about that. Okay. Now, the only flaw in the plan is that I'm eventually going to run out of pieces, like panel pieces. And I'm going to have to eventually turn to the other bin, but so that I don't get confused, I'm just, you know, you hold on to your childhood stuff, you're reluctant to let go of it, so you don't want it to get mixed together with your other pieces. And I think you've come across it. Here we go, see? So, 3, so that's 1, that's the 4th set, 5th set, 6th set, 7th set, as you see. So that means that you have enough to build 5 more, just like this. But I'm only going to build as much as I have my connector pieces for. Alright, so now you have enough for 2 sets of figures. That's brilliant. But remember, they go on the upper level of the shelf, not the bottom. So I've shown you how I build them. So now I'm just going to start slowly putting the figures in place on them. We'll see how part 2 goes. I'll film enough for this whole week. Okay, there you go. There is the female shelf. And you can see the empty spaces on the main shelf to put them on. So let me just take more picture. Once they don't fall over, of course. One moment. There we go. Front side picture. This side picture. And there. There you go. Good. All right. So that's going to be my plan, to build individual units. And as you see, they not much wasted space for each figure. So we'll put the 2 units on the shelf. actually going to move, because I took the carded figures away, I'm going to move most everything to this bottom shelf just so I can see how it looks. So I'll be right back. All right. So flash on. Here's a picture of the one shelf without the other figures in the way. See, now they're all down here waiting for their turn to go on the shelf. And now I put the female shelf in place and we'll see how it looks. All right, so there's the female shelf taking its photo. I can take it from both sides considering the angle. And since you still have room for a figure in front of each one, we'll carefully move this one back. There. Put Man-at-Arms in front of this one. And put Tila in front of the female shelf. Evil Lynn. So there you go. There's the class pictures now. Class picture of the men's shelf, which I'll crop later. Class picture of the woman's shelf, which I will take from this angle so it can be cropped separately. All right, so that is and now that I've taken those two figures away, I can put Fister down here. Jace, I think, or his name starts with J, I know that. And Anti-Eternia He-Man. All right, so there is the updated shelf, and you see, that's good, because that means they can be moved aside. You can put stuff beside them, like the accessory bag for the Eternian Guard figure. All right, so there's that. And there is that. And then you take a picture of the two of them together. There you are. And you still see all the parts that I can use to put everything together in the future. So that's all for today. And I'll be back later with more building and more results. See you then. Bye-bye.